Jones, Mitchell for two. That's pretty. Contested 3 and 1. Lowry rises up the Hamilton feed.
7 in the corner, Gold, wide open 3, good.
Jones contested 3, steps wide. Joplin hit, got it!
And the dunk follow.
There he is.
Demarius Owens.
Welcome to Inside Marquette Basketball here at the Al McGuire Center. I'm Sophia Minnaert, joined by Marquette men's basketball head coach Shaka.
Well, first of all, Sophia, I have to say congratulations to you on your recent award. Very well deserved.
Thank you. Well, Coach, overall, you're 5 games into the Big East Conference schedule. Fortunately, you're 5-0 so far in that conference play. How do you think they've responded to just the Big East?
Yeah, actually, we have really been challenged in these 5 games. There's a difference between 5-0 and playing perfect in those 5 games. You know, we found ways to win, but we absolutely have a lot of areas defensively and offensively where we need to improve and where we're going to need to be better if we want to win games coming up in the future. And that takes a real maturity to understand as a player because, you know, from the outside, what everybody points to is the record or the outcomes. We're grateful to be 5-0, but we've got a lot of improving to do.
Well, let's talk about Providence. That first game back on the road, this was a place that has been tough to play over the last couple years. Finally snapped that 5-game losing streak at Providence. Tyler Kolek in attendance, which was great to see him. They're supporting your team. But defensively, it felt like one of your team's best efforts of this season. What do you recall from the Providence game?
Well, there was a real motivation for our guys, our staff, everybody, because I don't think anyone in our program had won there. And we didn't know Tyler was going to be at the game. One thing that's neat about this group, and specifically our seniors, is you take a lot of pride in trying to go do something that Tyler and Oso couldn't do. Going to Providence and finding a way to win and playing well was something that was important, you know, to Stevie and Cam and Jop and all the rest of our guys. I thought our focus was really good. You know, you're not typically going to go on the road and win by that type of margin, even if you play well. We don't control the other team, and that was a night where maybe it wasn't their best night, so we're grateful for the result.
I think in the first half you held them to just 20 points, and then at one point in the game you put together a nuclear skunk defensively. Do you want to explain what a nuclear skunk means for the fans?
Well, a kill is 3 stops in a row, and a skunk is 6 stops in a row. And then we never really talked about what would happen if you got 4 kills in a row, 12 straight stops. But then it happened in that game, and my main man, Benny Retzloff, who's probably the best in our program at ideas, you know, he came to me and he's like, well, what do you want to call this? And thought about it for a few seconds and said, nuclear skunk.
Well, you come back after that Providence game, open up the new year with a sold-out game against Creighton, another win. The Creighton game, what was the thing that stood out for you of how your team was able to pull off that win?
The crowd was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Anytime we can sell out a game with school not being in session, that's a significant, you know, accomplishment for our program and our fans and everyone associated with Marquette basketball. Creighton's got a great team. It seems like every time we play them, it's very close, and so we knew that it was going to be that type of game. Ryan Kalkbrenner's been there for 78 years. I think they had 2 24-year-olds on the floor, one of them with, both of them with wives, one of them with a kid. So we got Royce Parham out there at 18 years old, who was in 7th grade, I believe, when Kalkbrenner enrolled in college. But you can't really make an excuse about that in the moment. You just got to find a way. And the guys did a good job working together, overcoming some early challenges in the game. Creighton, obviously, always a phenomenal shooting team. We did a better job as the game wore on, making them miss.
Well, in the Creighton game, it was the 9th time this season that your team has had 10 or fewer turnovers in a game. And that's been a theme of how much your team has just protected the ball, right, been able to limit turnovers. How has that team kind of built that as part of their identity and their strength offensively?
Honestly, it's one of those things that's more personnel related than anything. In other words, if you had a team full of Dennis Rodmans, you have a good rebounding team. So from the standpoint of taking care of the ball, we have, for the most part, a team full of guys who are pretty good decision makers, don't try to do too much every once in a while, but most of the time don't try to do too much, and are unselfish, willing to share the basketball. Coaching turnovers it's an art, not a science, because if you're too aggressive as a coach with, we can never turn the ball over, then guys are not going to play with the freedom to take some chances.
And how much of that just comes from their experience, right? I mean, we talk about your starting lineup, your veterans all the time, and how they are obviously the strength and the backbone of this team, but how much of that is just also their experience and knowing, the repercussions of turning over the ball.
Absolutely. I think their experience and also being in the moment, being present. You turn the ball over a lot less when you're focused on the present moment. You turn the ball over a lot more when the past and the future enters your mind and you're cluttered to some extent.
Well, in the Georgetown game, we saw a lot of grit, a lot of fight from your team. Down 14, down 9 at the half. They were able to respond in the second half, and it was really a battle. And it was a very different Georgetown team than what you guys had seen the year before.
Well, I told the guys coming in, any preconceived notions of Georgetown from the past, you got to throw that in the trash, because this is a different Georgetown team. It's a different Georgetown spirit, energy, toughness. Think of it as an Ed Cooley team. He's been in the Big East for so long. And, Marquette fans are used to playing against his Providence teams. So think of it that way. We knew it was going to be a battle and a fight. The guys showed great poise, toughness. It was certainly not easy going for us early on. Struggled against their zone defense. They made a run, built that double-figure lead. But again, I think the way our guys came together and they showed good intestinal fortitude, and we needed every bit of it.
16 steals, that was your second highest total of the season as well. I mean, how did that help you, just defensively getting back into the game and creating momentum on the other side of the floor? We
had to have it. It was something that we had to do. If you look at our wins and our deflections, and then our losses and deflections and the losses, it's a stark difference. And so it's who we have to be, and I always try to get the guys to understand, it's not just an indication of defensive intensity or energy, it's an indication of our overall spirit and energy. And I thought the guys did a great job with that at Georgetown and actually put up a top 10 number for us. That's something that we go after every game. Can we be in the top 10 of any game that we've had since we've been here in deflections, and we did that against Georgetown.
Is this the high point of our season? No. All right. We expected to come in here and win, all right? And we expected it to be probably harder than it was, all right? Hey, if that happens, it happens. Take control of that. We take what we take, all right? But we all know we got bigger fish to fry in 2025.
No finish line on 3, 1, 2, 3.
No finish line.
Shaka Smart's interview is presented by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, the official banking partner of Marquette University.
Not your bank's top priority? Here at Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. No hidden fees or runarounds, but a true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. Whether you're opening your first account, found your dream home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have the financial solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank. Wintrust, different approach, better results.
After a serious injury, you'll need an experienced team on your side. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of Marquette Athletics. One call, that's all.
This is me at my strongest.
This is me at my fastest.
This is me at my happiest.
This is me at my bravest.
This is me at my healthiest.
With Aurora Healthcare on your team, you can achieve your personal best and live life to the fullest.
Achieving my dreams means setting boundaries with alcohol and other drugs. In the classroom, I am focused and keep distractions to a minimum. I need to balance my studies, basketball, friends, and healthy choices. During training, I'm giving every ounce of energy I have. Sometimes winning means not taking every shot I'm given. Join me in Rise Drug Free MKE and let's achieve our dreams.
You had that play at some point in the second half, the swipe and then the steal and the dunk, really got the place going. What did that play bring energy-wise to the team, for the arena, just for everybody?
I mean, once that happens, a little transition play for our team, it helps us get a little energy, knowing that the crowd's with us, the crowd got up, and it's just a multiplier. We're all multipliers, so that's what we did.
You guys have talked about winning ugly this season. What's that mean to you?
Winning ugly, I mean, it means grimy, vicious, just doing anything you got to do to win the game, win a possession, win a half, doing like literally anything, no holds barred.
That's Chase Ross after the Georgetown win, a career-high 27 points for him, the majority of that coming in the second half as well, a huge reason why Marquette was able to come back and get that Georgetown win. And Coach, when you think about Chase Ross, the effort that he gave you on a night when some of your other regulars were struggling shooting the ball, and what Chase Ross gave you, you said after the game, he was the best player on the floor that night, period.
It was huge and very, very timely. I believe Cam and Jop and Ben were 8 for 31. The great thing is those three guys still contributed in a major way to winning. It just wasn't their best shooting night. So for Chase to step forward, and so really proud of him. You're talking about a young man in Chase Ross who, when he first got here, wasn't really sure if he could play at this level. And now to see him going out and having the success he's having in games like Georgetown is a lot of fun.
Well, and Chase in transition, I mean, is there a more explosive player than what he's able to do? You know, I thought there were a couple plays in that Georgetown game where it was, this is Chase Ross and his athleticism, right, on display.
Well, he and his dad argue about who was a better athlete in their prime. His dad was a big-time defensive back at Texas Tech. I'm just grateful for both of those guys because there's a humility/confidence gene that Chase has, and it's special and it's continuing to develop as he gains maturity.
One of the other comments that you made after that Georgetown game is that it was one of the games where you really had to rely on your starters, right? And especially probably the last 10 minutes of that second half to get the win. And sometimes, you know, we're seeing your young players, your freshmen and your sophomores, grow and develop, but sometimes the game is just a little bit too much above them. I forget how you phrased it. Better than what I just did.
Yep.
But,
no, you said it the same way. I mean, in our case, our freshmen and sophomores, 3 freshmen, Caden Hamilton being a redshirt freshman, 2 sophomores, Zayd Lowry, Trey Norman. These are the young, up-and-coming guys in our program who, if you come down to Caston Gym, all have phenomenal moments and all do a great job battling and fighting against the juniors and seniors when we play gold against blue. But the game sometimes can be different, and the game sometimes presents different challenges, more stress, pressure, anxieties. And there are moments when you do have to go with your most veteran guys because they just kind of understand what the moment requires culturally, defensively, and offensively. And I thought the second half, particularly the last 11 minutes of the Georgetown game, was one of those moments. By the way, all those guys that are the juniors and seniors that didn't come out of the game the last 11 minutes of the Georgetown game, their behinds sat on the bench and watched other guys close out games when they were younger.
Coach, in terms of your depth and your bench, you were hoping to get Sean Jones back after the ACL injury, but the decision last week for him to redshirt, and so he will hopefully be ready to go for the start of next season. But what went into that decision for Sean?
Well, you know, he was injured last January. He had surgery. As you know, it's a very long and grueling rehab and recovery from that injury. He's been terrific in his approach, and Kenny Wilka, our athletic trainer, deserves a ton of credit, as does Todd Smith, as does my man Kylie. We got a guy named Kylie who is an expert on ACLs and works at Marquette, and he's been a really good resource because he's dealt with, I think, thousands of athletes with similar injuries. Sean's made terrific progress. As you know, he came back to practice several weeks ago. He's been really good in practice. And, you know, from the eye test, you know, from as coaches, you know, he looks good, you know, and he's playing well. But Sean doesn't quite feel like he's moving the way that he can, particularly on the defensive end. And that's always the last hurdle for someone with that injury, is their own kind of sense for how they're moving. As you know, his game is based on speed and quickness and putting a lot of force into the ground. That's how he injured the knee in the first place. And in the context of our team, what makes the most sense, because at least as the rules currently stand, if he does not play this year, then he gets a whole other year on the back end of his career. And if he did play this year, then he would just have the 1 year remaining to play next season. And so, ultimately that was a determination that we all made, and Sean certainly, drove the bus as he should, because it's his body.
Inside Marquette Basketball is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare, helping you to live fully.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light, choose chill.
This is me at my strongest.
This is me at my fastest.
This is me at my happiest.
This is me at my bravest.
This is me at my healthiest.
With Aurora Healthcare on your team, you can achieve your personal best and live life to the fullest.
Hey, grab me one too.
Fans, tonight we're celebrating our Marquette moms. Please give a warm Marquette welcome to all the moms of your Marquette Golden Eagles.
We've got a special group of moms, we've got a special group of dads, very special families here. That's part of what makes the young men on our team so special. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, and I just want to say how grateful I am to coach your sons.
Shaka and his staff, their motto is relationships, growth, victory. The relationships is off the chain, and it really does feel like a family. So there's no way that I would want to be anywhere else.
Coach Mart has always been like one of my idols as a coach, because when I was growing up, when he took his team to the Final Four, I always admired him. I always remember his energy.
So we just want to enjoy every moment of it. It's a special group. We say going into every game, we want to win the spiritual battle going into the game, and that just means how we are with each other and how we treat each other and where we look at each other, and your sons are the best with that, and that's what makes it so much fun. Also, it's what makes us successful.
It's a blessing to be recruited by all these great schools, but if you actually have Coach Smart in your gym looking at you, number one, must have a great family. Number two, you must be a great kid yourself. So the families that he recruits, it's amazing. That's how this operation keeps going, because they keep on bringing in great families. So if it was my situation, I wouldn't even think twice. I would make my son, you're signing right now, and that's it. You're going to Marquette, because you're going to be taken care of on and off the court and as young men. And that's, to me, the most important thing.
Obviously, Mom's Night, did you guys kind of have trouble kind of staying focused and not trying to pay attention to some of the events of the Mom's Night? Obviously, your mom being out there and getting some buckets in herself.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was one time, it was when Sean's mom was doing the dancing thing. Coach kind of had to reel us all back in. That was one time. I mean, you hear your name, you hear what they're doing, so you glance up at the Jumbotron. They brought more energy to the game than distractions.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
I know we were all excited, especially after Job's mom sang the national anthem. She does so much for us, all of us, being, hometown mom. So it was great to see her go out there, kill it.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
that was really good. And, you know, she got vocals for sure.
For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Joplin.
Coach, not just a win in that game against Creighton, but also a really special night to honor the Marquette moms, what they bring to your program, their sons, of course, what they bring to your program. This is all about relationships, right? And you had a chance to talk with those moms and their families, to have your son come to Marquette, play for you and your staff, what they bring to your program, and it all starts with the moms, right, and the support that they give your players.
Well, I was raised by a single mom, so I am partial to moms for sure. And I've had to learn over the years to appreciate dads because we have some great dads as well. And I did let the dads know, you know, let's get ready to do Marquette Dads Night in the future. But the Creighton game was all about the Marquette moms. It was an idea that we had going into the season, really spurred by the fact that Stevie's mom and Jop's mom and Cam Brown's mom and so many of the moms have created a community that they call the Marquette Moms. They came up with that name. And they're so supportive of each other. They're so supportive of their sons, each other's sons, and the team. And as I told them at the pregame reception, that 3 for 3 is special. We don't take that for granted because it's not necessarily like that everywhere. We do value relationships. The most important relationship for the vast majority of us is the one we have with our mom and our dad. And so that's something I've learned over the years in coaching to appreciate more than maybe I once did. I used to think, well, it's the coaches and the players and we're in this bunker alone and, you know, families aren't here every day and they don't fully understand. I've completely changed my approach with that because the reality is we're in this together. And the people with the deepest roots in terms of relationships with our guys.
And it was a great night. There were so many highlights. One of them, of course, Lisa Joplin singing the national anthem. But what I loved was watching Jop's reaction to his mom singing. It was so pure. It was beautiful.
Well, Jop's the best singer on the team, so it makes all the sense in the world for his mom to lead the way with the national anthem. As I often say, it is a hard song to sing, and she did a phenomenal job. I think she is definitely planning to be one and done. Because after she got done, we said, well, maybe we should have her do that again. But she was pretty nervous. She did a phenomenal job. As you saw Jop's reaction, the Marquette mom's reaction, that definitely was a great EGB for us going into the game.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
After a serious injury, you'll need an experienced team on your side. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of Marquette Athletics. One call, that's all.
Golden Eagles fans, open a Marquette checking account with Wintrust Wisconsin's Bank today and score golden perks like a $50 opening bonus, free ATMs nationwide, and your very own exclusive MU Golden Eagles debit card. Rep the blue and gold at home or on the road. And don't miss this golden opportunity to let everyone know. Scan now to open your account today. Wintrust Wisconsin's Bank, proud to be the official bank of Marquette University.
This is me at my strongest.
This is me at my fastest.
This is me at my happiest.
This is me at my bravest.
This is me at my healthiest.
With Aurora Healthcare on your team, you can achieve your personal best and live life to the fullest.
Inside Marquette Basketball is presented by Pepsi. Thirsty for more. Back with head coach Shaka Smart here on Inside Marquette Basketball. And coach, coming off of the bye week, we jump right back into conference play. What do you think of what the schedule presents for your team and how you want to see them respond coming off of this week?
Well, every game in the Big East presents a unique challenge. This league, you know, it's fascinating because Different years, the league has more or less success in non-conference play, and that kind of dictates the numbers, the metrics of a lot of these teams. But once you get to January, February, early March, it's pretty much the same. You know, you're going to deal with really, really hard-nosed, tough, aggressive, physical teams that present a lot of different challenges, a lot of terrific shooting teams, styles of play that are unique, coaches that do a heck of a job making different adjustments. So, you know, for us, we're 5 games in. We've got a lot of improving to do on the defensive end, on the offensive end. But as we like to say in our locker room, it starts with winning the spiritual war, making sure that we have the energy and the connectivity amongst our group that we can overcome whatever circumstances are thrown our way. And so that's the exciting challenge that we have.
You'll also be honoring a former Marquette team, the 1993-94 team, which advanced to the Sweet 16. It'll be a great reunion for that team. And this is something that you as a coach have taken a lot of pride and initiative on, of honoring former Marquette players and the success of those former teams.
Well, we try to do a different team every year, and there's obviously been so many great Marquette teams over the years. I'm really glad that we're able to honor a team this year from a different era than normally gets a lot of attention. I mean, let's be honest, because of how great the 70s were here, that gets a ton of attention. And then you've got the Final Four team, and then even some of the teams that followed the Final Four team. So I'm really glad that this team is getting its due this year. Talked to Coach Kevin O'Neill. I'm so excited about him coming back. When I was growing up as a young coach, you know, he was one of the guys in coaching that was, you know, near the top of the profession. And so he's a guy that he's very quotable. I think other than Al McGuire, probably the next most quotable Marquette coach, and someone that is just a phenomenal teacher of the game. Big Jim McIlvaine, you got to say arguably the best big man in Marquette history. I know there was a lot of great ones that came before him, but if we could find an extra year of eligibility for Jim, he certainly could help our team. So an exciting team that, you know, we're looking forward to honoring. You know, it'd be great for our fans as well to get a chance to pay tribute to that group.
Well, and hopefully another huge crowd at Fiserv Forum as your team continues this stretch of 4 of your 6 games at home in Fiserv Forum, which is a great opportunity to continue building that momentum here at home. So thanks, Coach, for your time. That's a wrap here on Inside Marquette Basketball with head coach Shaka Smart.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,